Hello folks, Why Guy here again. Welcome to my home on this very beautiful autumn morning. I'm going to be a little bit more cantankerous in this video than I normally am. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, the name of this video is called, what is the name of this video? The Why Guy asks if you're foolish. There we go. I just came up with that. The foolish, pagan-minded hell believers want us to believe that it is the decisions of our minds, okay, and the actions of our flesh that changes us spiritually. When the exact opposite is true, quote, "Are you so foolish? Having begun by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by the flesh?" Close quote. That's found in Galatians 3:3. And by the way, the word Spirit in that uses a capital S, and it's referring to God's Spirit and not anything of our own. And you know what's worse is how it's assumed by our pagan-minded friends that our individual spirits are somehow born dead, as in a spiritual stillbirth. Okay? Type of scenario. And they use the born into sin, okay, doctrines of men, as a reason for such a belief. It doesn't stop there. It gets even crazier. There's a dance that they perform. There's a dance performed by Christendom, and it's called the Age of Accountability. So someone young who was born into sin, whose spirit is supposedly dead, by no choice or decision of their own, they will all of a sudden be miraculously alive with God for an eternity. Did I get that right? But why, Guy? They're too young to make a decision. You know, I'm going to address that in a moment by doing a comparison to an adult. No. Is there an instance anywhere within Scripture that gives us an example of that happening, of that type of scenario happening, of age of accountability? You know, I couldn't find one. Can you? You know, the indoctrinated rabbit hole gets even deeper. These same Christian rabbits are expecting us to believe that unless you're born again, and then they combine born of the Spirit as if it all means the same thing, okay? Unless that happens to you, that you're the walking dead representing some type of spiritual zombie. All right? However, apparently, are we then to assume that the young who die before that magical age are not zombies as well? Follow me on this, okay? Did all those abortions produce spiritual baby zombies? It sounds ridiculous, I know, but that's essentially what is being taught. Isn't abortion bad enough? Now you want us to believe in spiritually dead babies? Is that it? Speaking of babies, let me digress by asking a rhetorical question of why are the majority of Christians against abortion if it means a free ticket into heaven for them? These same Christians claim that abortion is murder and not a loving act. Yet as a loving act by God, let's allow these babies to grow up as members of the majority of people who are going to be tortured for an eternity. Okay? You know, folks, I like bunnies. I really do. But the rabbits who promote this kind of bullshit should be shot. How's that for a loving act? You know, let's put aside the young and baby issue for a moment and talk about the adults in the room who, unlike the young, all apparently have the correct information that's needed along with the complete understanding so that they can make the correct choice to follow God. Yes, sarcasm implied. These knowledgeable adults who oxymoronically are dead to the knowledge of God, who represent the walking dead as spiritual zombies, you know, I find it simply uncanny how these spiritually dead people have the ability to hear a message coming from loving, sarcasm implied, men and women of God who threaten them with hell unless the dead take the necessary steps to make themselves alive unto God. In other words, the people of the world need to take the threat of hell seriously enough in order to resurrect their dead spirit by making a knowledgeable choice. Really? The dead have that kind of power and ability? Born again and born of the Spirit has been horribly misunderstood to an assumption that's made because of doctrines of men. Born of the Spirit is addressing anything in general. That's birthed by God. And since Spirit is capitalized in that passage, it's referring to the Spirit of God, like I already mentioned. While talking to Nicodemus about born again, Jesus confirmed, in my opinion, in John 3:6, what I'm trying to convey in this video when he used the term twice, that which. Okay? Which is from a Latin-based version. And the things is how it's, the things being birthed, okay, is how it's in the Koine Greek rendering. So here's an example from the Latin-based New American Standard. Quote, that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit, close quote. You know, folks, in all the years that Jesus ministered, did he ever use, words like people, brethren, or whomsoever? Did those words ever come out of his mouth? If so, then why not in this passage? Okay? If it's so important for people, brethren, and whomsoever to be born again. Yet in this case, he used the Hebrew or Aramaic equivalent of the things born of the Spirit. The things. The importance of this phrase is contextually profound and clearly stated, yet is completely ignored by most people. In my opinion, the distinction Jesus is making is between what is birthed by the flesh and what is birthed from the Spirit of God. It contextually has nothing to do with our dead spirit needing to be born again in order to become alive in God, as we've been erroneously taught. To apply this passage to our own individual dead spirit and then somehow equate the decisions of our flesh, okay, as being what's necessary to instigate something birthed by God, that's pure God-slandering lunacy. Yet most Christians are taught this madness. So in closing this video, remember, are you so foolish? Having begun by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by the flesh? Christendom has twisted these words into meaning, are you so foolish, having begun by the decisions of your carnal mind, your flesh? How can you possibly expect the Spirit of God to override your free will? Is that God slandering? You bet your sweet born-again rear end it is. Look me up on Facebook in a group called the Y Guy Group. You have to answer 3 questions to join that group. Also, I have an avatar name, a fake name, under the avatar name of John Anthony Jones on Facebook. Look me up there. By the way, did you remember to do this? I'm going to start doing this on just about every video to remind my subscribers. If you're a subscriber for a reason. Well, anyhow, thank you, by the way, for those who do that. If you are going to leave a comment in disagreement to this video, then make sure it's polite so I won't have to delete it. I don't mind disagreements. Matter of fact, they're healthy. They can be, I should say. And scroll down, you'll see 6 links on the Show Me More section. If you scroll down below here on the video, consider looking at those. And there's 3 books that I have published, and I show you where you can get those. There's my website, I show you where that is, and then there's 2 links to how you can support this channel. And by the way, thank you to you who are my patrons and who support me that way. Thank you for putting up with my cantankerousness, I guess.